special keynote address.
Thank you for that very kind introduction. It's an honor to be here and to be invited to speak to you this evening. By way of introduction a little bit further, I am the economic officer for the North India office at the US Embassy here in New Delhi. The North India office was created a few years ago to make sure that the embassy was not so focused on New Delhi, since we are all here and the central government is here, but that we forgot about the large population of North India that is not in New Delhi. So our mission has been to be out and about in North India to understand the people, to understand the issues and what's important to them so that we can be better partners, the United States, to India in the Indo-Pacific arena. In fact, one of the biggest disappointments of my tour has been the inability over the last year to actually travel much and go to different places because of the pandemic. Now, as mentioned, I've served in a number of different countries, the Philippines, El Salvador, and Canada. There, I felt I was able to understand the cultures and the languages fairly quickly. But here in North India, the cultures and the language and the people vary so much from Rajasthan to Punjab to Himachal Pradesh to Uttar Pradesh. I feel like I am still, even after 3 years, I'm only scratching the surface and beginning to understand North India. It's a real testament to the rich historic cultures here in India. I'd like to talk for a few minutes about the US-India relationship and some recent significant engagement. Just a few weeks ago, Presidential Special Envoy for Climate Change, John Kerry, visited and met with Prime Minister Modi and 6 other ministers in the lead up to the April 22nd Leaders Climate Summit, in which Prime Minister Modi participated. He came even as the pandemic's case numbers were rising sharply, but it was a high priority for this administration, so he still came. Additionally, Secretary of Defense Austin came here as part of his first overseas trip. And recently, President Biden joined Prime Minister Modi, Prime Minister Suga, and Australian Prime Minister Morrison for the first ever Quad Leaders Summit. And as President Biden said at the Quad, we're renewing our commitment to ensure that our region is governed by international law, committed to upholding universal values free from coercion. Prime Minister Modi echoed a similar view, stating that Quad leaders are united by our democratic values and our commitment to a free, open, and inclusive Indo-Pacific. At the summit, the 4 Quad leaders made a massive joint commitment with Indian manufacturing, US technology, Japanese financing, and Australian logistics capability to deliver up to 1 billion doses to ASEAN, the Indo-Pacific, and beyond by the end of 2022, reaching over 1/7 of the world's population. To me, that illustrates the importance of the global partnerships, especially in times of crisis. Thankfully, this is not a world war, but still millions have lost their lives and have suffered and continue to suffer because of it. We extend, as the United States government, we extend our deepest sympathies to those suffering here in India during the pandemic. And we are working closely with Indian officials to identify ways to address the crisis. From the earliest stages of the pandemic, the United States has provided India with emergency relief supplies, medical consumables, pandemic training for state and local officials, and ventilators. These efforts have built upon our decades-long health partnership. These engagements reflect our view that together the United States and India have a global strategic partnership, and together we can advance our shared vision for a free, open, secure, and prosperous Indo-Pacific. The partnership between the United States and India has grown closer over the past 20 years, and it is a trend we see continuing. Shifting to trade, while 2020 presented many challenges to the global economy, we are hopeful that in 2021 and beyond, we will see a return to the growth experienced in 2019, when bilateral trade in goods and services surged to over $146 billion between the United States and India. 16% of India's total exports now head to the United States, and we are India's most important trading partner. Cumulative US direct investment in India reached about $46 billion in 2019. The actual figure for all sources of US investment is much higher. US companies have remained the largest investors in India. And at the same time, an expanding number of Indian companies have found the United States to be an attractive destination for trade and investment. By 2019, Indian investment in the United States totaled $16.7 billion, a 20% increase over 2018, providing almost 70,000 jobs. As economies look to recover from the global pandemic, it's important to recognize that the more open an economy is, the faster it's able to grow. We are glad that Prime Minister Modi has prioritized joining global and regional supply chains in his August 2020 Independence Day speech, and we support achieving this by improving India's business and investment environment. We applaud the structural reforms passed in recent years. However, there are still protectionist measures and standards not in line with international standards, which effectively close off Indian producers from global supply chains and restrict the expansion in bilateral trade. We look forward to working together to address some of these trade barriers in order to continue to expand our economic and commercial relationship and support recovery in both of our economies in a manner that reflects our shared commitment to a free, open, and prosperous Indo-Pacific region. Earlier this year, we saw a transition from President Trump to President Biden. I know many of you will miss President Trump's entertaining tweets, and he was very close to Prime Minister Modi. But the Biden administration has made combating climate change a key focus of its administration. President Biden understands the critical role the United States must play in the global climate effort. On President Biden's first day in office, he signed the instrument to rejoin the Paris Agreement on climate change, renewing our commitment to partner with other nations to tackle this global challenge. India is an important partner, an essential partner really, in constructing a global solution for the climate crisis. India's rich scientific and technological talent make it an important partner for the world on future clean energy research, development, and deployment. Just this week at the Leaders Summit on Climate, President Biden and Prime Minister Modi announced the launch of a new high-level partnership, the US-India Climate and Energy Agenda 2030 Partnership, which envisages bilateral cooperation on strong actions in the current decade to meet the goals of the Paris Agreement. In conclusion, as you can see, the new administration's approach reflects a sustained bipartisan commitment to a free and open Indo-Pacific and expanding our global strategic partnership with India to support that effort. I appreciate the chance that I've had, together with my wife and 6 children, to be here in India. I recognize that, especially now, very few outsiders have the opportunity to live and experience in India's rich culture in such a close setting. I'm actually finishing up my tour here in New Delhi, and I'll return to the United States this summer. Sadly, it looks unlikely I will be able to travel outside of New Delhi again. While I am sad that this pandemic has limited my opportunities to see more of your beautiful country, I'll always cherish my time here, and I thank you for your kind hospitality that you've shown to me and others while we've been here. And I'd like to close by saying that I wish you all the best in this conference and learning all great leadership skills and other skills that will help you in your lives. Thank you.